If you're running a business or about to, we need to talk about something that a lot of people overlook: choosing the right business entity. And I'm not just talking about legal paperwork, I'm talking about the structure that quietly controls your taxes, your liability, your funding potential, and even your peace of mind. And here's the truth: a lot of people get it wrong, not because they're lazy, but because nobody really explains why it matters until it is too late. Hey, I'm Susan. I'm a wealth alignment coach, and I've been a real estate investor and business owner for over 20 years. And I've set up multiple entities, not just for tax savings or compliance, but to build real wealth and protect everything that I have worked for. So I'm not an attorney, I'm not a CPA, and I'm not a financial advisor. And when I was first starting out, I didn't even have the money to hire those professionals, especially because I didn't know the right questions to ask them. The one thing I did know is that you can run up huge bills when you treat high-paid professionals like professors. But when you educate yourself first, you flip the script. So instead of saying, hey, what should I do, and leaving those doors wide open, you're saying, here's the path I'm planning. Can you help me validate or fine-tune it, right? You're in the driver's seat at that point. So I did what a lot of entrepreneurs do. I figured it out as I went. And at the beginning, I truly had no idea what I was doing. I made all the classic mistakes, right? I wasted money on services I didn't need. I filed the wrong paperwork more than once. And then I trusted people who never took the time to explain to me why any of it mattered, right? I do that? Okay. But I didn't understand it. And after all the false starts and the pivots and the do-overs, I ended up with this trail of old EINs and LLCs floating around, and they were tied to businesses I wasn't even running anymore. So I didn't start out knowing all this stuff. I learned it the hard way, right? But through 20 years of building multiple businesses, making mistakes, and learning what actually works, I figured out how to create a solid strategic foundation that supports real growth. And now I'm here to share that with you, not as legal or financial advice, but as someone who's been in the trenches and knows what actually makes a difference in my business, right? And in yours too. So let me explain why this matters, right? Why entity structure matters more than you really think, right? Your entire entity is like the framework of a building. You don't see it from the outside. But if it's weak, everything else is at risk. So here's everything that your entity structure impacts. Taxes, how much you pay, how you pay it, how much you keep, right? Liability, whether your personal assets like your house or your savings are protected if something goes wrong. Credibility, that's a big one. Whether lenders, investors, and banks take your business seriously. It also affects your flexibility. How easily can you bring in partners, investors, or transition ownership later on? Because I don't think we're building business for our health. Maybe we want to sell it one day and leave a legacy, legacy for your kids. So let me give you a few examples of how this can go right or wrong. So a client who was running her business for 10 years had no idea her LLC had been inactive for the last 3, right? She thought she was protected, but legally she was not. Another was overpaying thousands in taxes every year by staying as a sole proprietor when an S Corp structure would have saved her so much, simply because she didn't know the option existed. One was denied business credit because her NIAX code was flagged as high risk and she didn't even know what that meant. The wrong code was selected just automatically when she filed online. Another client thought she needed this elaborate business structure. She wasn't sure, maybe an LLC, maybe a holding company, because she'd been scared into thinking that was the right way to look professional, right? Look professional. But after we talked about it, it turned out all she really needed was an EIN and a separate bank account and to operate as a sole proprietor. She wasn't at risk yet. She wasn't generating complex income, and she wasn't in need of liability protection at that point. So a full entity structure would have just added all this unnecessary paperwork and stress, right? So those are real pain points of real people, but they're avoidable when you ask yourself the right questions and then you choose the right structure based on those answers. That's the key. And the missing piece when a lot of people set up an entity is their goals, right? So here's the secret. Your business structure should be based on your goals, not what your friend did, not what a random article said, and definitely not something you stumbled across on Google or YouTube at 3 a.m. when you couldn't sleep, right? It's got to be aligned with your vision, your strategy, and where you actually want to go. So I want you to ask yourself right now, am I trying to protect my personal assets? Am I planning to get business funding? Am I trying to reduce employment taxes or build something long term? Do I maybe want to sell this business, like grow it and sell it? There's a good goal. You gotta get real clear, because once you're clear on that, you can make smarter, more strategic decisions with confidence, right? That's what we're going for. So if this is starting to open your eyes a bit and you're thinking, okay, maybe I don't have the right structure, don't worry, you're not alone. There's so many that feel that way. And that's exactly why I created a step-by-step roadmap to walk you through how to choose the right entity, get your EIN, file with your state, protect your business really from the inside out. It's called the Business Owner's Blueprint. And inside this comprehensive training, here's what you're going to learn exactly how to choose the right structure for your business goals. You're going to understand the differences between LLCs and S Corps and Sole Props and more, just all in plain English. And then you're going to get a step-by-step, guide to file your paperwork, get your EIN, and open your business bank account. Avoid the traps that most new business owners fall into, like overpaying in taxes or choosing a high-risk NIAX code. And that's the code that's assigned to your business that tells banks and others what it is you do. It's got to be a low risk. So I've even got a whole module dedicated to cleaning up and restructuring your business in case you did it all wrong and you're sitting around worried about it, including when to dissolve and when to abandon inactive entities and when it makes sense to move everything under a holding company. Now, this course is normally priced at $197, but here's the good news. Members of my free Wealth Reboot community get access to the course for just $79 when it launches. There's no credit card now. All you have to do is join the free community and you'll be first in line for the discounted price when this course drops. Now, let's take a peek inside my free Wealth Reboot community, where we talk about wealth building business strategy, long-term protection, expedited funding, buying service-based businesses so you can work less and earn more and thrive in the new economy, and that inner alignment work that often gets overlooked, things like money mindset, identity shifts, and creating a business that actually supports the life you want, right? It's not just about structure, it's about energetic alignment and smart strategy working together. And the best part, it's completely free to join. So if you're building something real and you want to build it right, this is your next step. So just click the link below to join my free Wealth Reboot community, get the guidance you need, connect with like-minded entrepreneurs, and then, once it drops, grab the Business Owner's Blueprint at the exclusive member rate when it launches. So thanks for watching. If you found this content helpful, please like and subscribe, and remember, the structure you build now can either protect you or cost you. Choose wisely. I'll see you inside.